John Calvin on Psalm 81, verses 13 through 16. "O that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways! I should soon have subdued their enemies, and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. I should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee. If my people would but listen to me, if Israel would follow my ways, how quickly would I subdue their enemies." Here God assumes the character of a father, and observing, after having tried every possible means for the recovery of his children, that their condition is utterly hopeless, he uses the language of one saddened, as it were with sighing and groaning, not that he is subject to human passions, but because he cannot otherwise express the greatness of the love which he bears towards us. God, in coming down to us by his word, and addressing his invitations to all men without exception, disappoints nobody. All who sincerely come to him are received, and find from actual experience that they were not called in vain. At the same time, we are to trace to the fountain of the secret electing purpose of God this difference, that the word enters into the heart of some, while others only hear the sound of it. And yet there is no inconsistency in his complaining, as it were, with tears of our folly when we do not obey him. In the invitations which he addresses to us by the eternal word, he shows himself to be a father, and why may he not be understood as still representing himself under the image of a father and using this form of complaint? In Ezekiel 18, verse 32, he declares with the strictest regard to truth, quote, "I have no pleasure in the death of him that dies," unquote. Provided in the interpretation of the passage we candidly and dispassionately take into view the whole scope of it. God has no pleasure in the death of the sinner? How? Because he would have all men turn to himself. But it is abundantly evident that men by their own free will cannot turn to God until he first change their stony hearts into hearts of flesh. Yea, this renovation, as Augustine judiciously observes, is a work surpassing that of creation itself. Now, what hinders God from bending and framing the hearts of all men equally in submission to him? Here, modesty and sobriety must be observed, that instead of presuming to intrude into his incomprehensible decrees, we may rest contented with the revelation which he has made of his will in his word.